depressed. A lot of people say I'm only doing this for revenge. I admit, we did have a little conflict, but risking everything this time is no joke. Do you know why he's so desperate to shut down my documentary? He's even willing to hire someone to pay me a visit because he knows we found things. Footage he filmed himself, confidential call agreements, all of it. And I paid a huge amount of money to get those. Diddy is not the only problem. He's just a symbol.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, Diddy, you up to bat, pause. Wow. It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we got to do. You got to hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. You are the prize in 2025. You are the prize in 2025. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the videos. We back with another one. Hey, before we get started on this, man, make sure you share this with the last person you text in your phone. Also, we working on a 2026 slogan, new motto. Drop it in the comments. What do you think the 2026 slogan should be? I've been reading them. Y'all been coming up with some good stuff too. But we here, you already know what's going on. Diddy, 50, Netflix, it's crazy. I haven't seen it, so I'm sure this is gonna be crazy. But you make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. Let's go ahead and get into it. Fire Squad, what's poppin'? Let's get it. Before we get back into the video, I want to tell you guys a quick and easy way that you can make money just by playing games on your phone. Free Cash is a program that helps games and apps to find new users. So how it works is the companies get paid just from you playing the games. But where Free Cash comes in is they take some of that money and they reroute it to you. Now, this is not a get rich quick scheme. You actually have to play the games to actually get the money. So you can either hit the link in my description or you can use the QR code on the screen. Super easy to sign up. All you need is an email and a password. If you use the link, they'll give you $5 immediately to your account, credited to your account by using the link. And it's super easy to withdraw. You can either withdraw through Bitcoin, PayPal, or bank transfer. Super easy. Most people is making like $10 to $20 a day. But if you got some time, you can really lock in. You can see that this game right here is paying $1,020 just to complete it. So it's games out there where you can make some money for real, but you got to lock in and put the time in though. So if you already use your phone to play games and stuff like that, let that phone actually make some money for you too. So make sure you hit that link in the description, hit the QR code, make some easy money, man. Shout out to the squad. Peace.
All right, y'all. So I just finished Sean Combs' The Reckoning on Netflix, executive produced by 50 Cent. And I just really got to say, the fact that all of this stuff has allegedly been happening since the 90s with Mr. Combs, and the world has just been brushing past it.
No, this nigga got a comb and a brush. It's crazy.
It's wild to me. It's literally been 40 years of chaos. This man was smart as hell. He had so much power and influence that he was really able to do whatever the hell he wanted to do with little to no consequences in public and in private. And this documentary starts from the beginning of his life, how he went from Sean Combs to Diddy to the Diddler to Did He Do It, literally. And in the documentary, here are some of the people that he allegedly did it to. So we have Aubrey O'Day, she was in Danny D. Kane. Then we have Tim Burrows, he was one of the co-founders of Bad Boys. We got Capricorn Clark, which was one of Diddy's assistants, and also she was Suge Knight's baby mama's best friend. We have Kalina, who was in Diddy Dirty Money with Don. They had Lil Rod, who was one of the main producers of the Love album that Diddy released in, I believe, 2023. They had Joy, who was allegedly one of Diddy's victims. They have Roger Bonds, who was one of Diddy's main security guards before he was fired. Also, Mark Curry, who was one of Diddy's ghostwriters and an artist on Bad Boy. And other people that's not pictured is Tim Patterson, who was his childhood friend and one of his co-workers on Uptown Records when he was under Andre Harrell. They had Day 26 in here a little bit. They had Roxanne, who was Craig Mack's wife. They also had D1, who was a former member of the Mansfield Crips. And then they also had some of LAPD and NYPD, who was investigating the Tupac death, the Biggie death, the whole Shine shooting up the club situation. And also they had two jurors who was in there when Diddy was on trial. They even had the escort, Clayton Howard, on here talking too. And so with all the people I just named, imagine them giving step-by-step information and behind the scenes of what was really going on and what we don't know about situations that played out in the public. Mind you, throughout the documentary, there's also a vlog of Diddy before he went to jail, like 6 days before, and he's just like going through life, like watching the allegations pile up, his reaction to it, him walking the streets of New York still, like this is crazy. And so like I said, it was 4 episodes, and so the first part is kind of like about his life and how he started, how he was under Andre Harrell at Uptown Records, and they taught him everything that he knew. And so at the time, I'll Be Sure was one of the big artists on Uptown Records who was dating Kim Porter, who was the receptionist at Uptown Records in the front. And so they say Diddy was always flirting with her. So I think that's where the Diddy and I'll Be Sure thing started. And so according to Tim Patterson, Diddy's childhood friend and who also worked on Uptown Records, Diddy ended up getting promoted because he was undeniable. Andre Harrell loved him. But this was my first red flag though. Diddy and Heavy D threw a celebrity basketball game in like 1994 and it ended up being over promoted and overcrowded. And because it was overcrowded and it was a stampede trying to get in because people was not accepting no for an answer because some people paid like $1,200 for a ticket, which is also crazy. People end up dying because they could not breathe and they were stuffed in that place. And that's how Diddy became known and famous because of people dying at that party. That's crazy as hell. And then allegedly, according to his childhood friend, Tim Patterson, who also worked with him, he was saying that his mom tried to tell Diddy something about it and Diddy put his hands on her. And then they brought in the story of Joy, who said she used to help Diddy promote and she said she was violated and not in her right mind when it happened and it was recorded and Diddy would show it at parties on big screen. And she filed the case in 2021, but
on big screen.
Oh, hell no.
We on the first clip and I'm already like, here we go.
It's still pending, and when it happened, nobody would help her and was telling her, what do you want me to do about it? And if I help you, I can't get into the parties no more. And then she had read a letter that her mom had wrote to Diddy saying that my daughter be waking up screaming in her sleep because of what you did to her and all this stuff like that. I'm like, that's sad. Then they kept going with the journey. Diddy had got promoted more when it came to Uptown Records. Andre Harrell started giving him artists, so he gave them Jodeci. And Jodeci could always sing, but Diddy gave them the whole package, the outfits, the remixes, everything. Then he came with Mary J. Blige and what's the 411, and they created Hip Hop Soul. But they were saying that Andre Harrell is the one that taught Diddy that he's more important than the artist. He has to be in control of them and all that, and that's kind of what led him to do it later on. But they're saying that Andre Harrell and Diddy ended up falling out because Diddy's ego became too big, and so he ended up getting fired, and he was sad about it. But then that's when he created Bad Boy, and that's when he had Notorious B.I.G., and he was signed to Uptown Records, but Andre Harrell let him take Biggie. Mind you, around this time, Diddy and Misa had Justin, and he had stole Misa from Eric Sermon, and he was on here too. And Eric said that Diddy was trying to be cool with him and come to his video shoots, but he really was only coming to steal Misa away. And then they brought up the story of Diddy allegedly whooping Misa in the streets, like violating her real bad in public, and people having to pull him off of her. And I'm like, y'all let that happen? And then apparently Eric and Misa was still hanging out, and Diddy didn't like that, so he came and knocked on his car window, swung on Eric. They were supposed to go fight around the corner. He was like, no, I want to play you B.I.G. album, and they just played the album like, huh? And this is exactly what I mean by y'all brushing past the stuff that Sean Combs did. But let's get into this Biggie and Tupac stuff, because this was the part that had me shook. I can't lie. We already know how this ended up being the East Coast, West Coast thing, but it wasn't supposed to be like that because Tupac supported Biggie and Biggie loved Tupac also.
Facts.
According to the documentary, the problem was here, the jealousy. He wanted to be in control of Biggie and what he did, and he wanted to work with Tupac, and Tupac didn't want to work with him. But listen, I'm going to keep this short. All I'm going to say is with the information that they provided in this documentary on both Biggie's death and Tupac's death, the fact that he was never a suspect on paper is crazy. Diddy not being a suspect is suspect. I don't...
Eminem said Diddy was a suspect in one of them records.
care. It's given that it was arranged, and the fact that Kurt Burrows is the co-founder of Bad Boys and he got all the paperwork and the money that was shown to buy the extra cars for Las Vegas and all that, like, it's weird. Then Biggie, knowing that it's heavy beef in LA, not wanting to be there, but Diddy want to throw a party just to show that he can be there. Right. Forcing Biggie to stay. He wanted to be in the UK marketing his album and all that, but he was like, nah, you got to be there. Then he ended up dead too. Then you take the Rolling Stone cover that was supposed to go to him. Then you throw a big funeral, but then Biggie gonna pay for the funeral?
Whoa.
According to Kurt Burrows, he didn't want the people to know, but it was gonna be a recoupable payment. And allegedly, according to Kirk, I guess Biggie was trying to negotiate his contract and it worked, but when he passed away, Diddy was trying to like make new pages of it and not tell the mama and everybody else, like on weird stuff. And because Kirk wouldn't do it, he ended up getting fired. And also, Diddy never put Bad Boys in his name, but wanted the 25% back afterwards. 25% was in Kirk's name and 75% was in Janet's name, Diddy mama. But Kirk said he threatened him and stood over him with a bat until he gave up that 25% and said he was going to give it back, but never did. What? And then he tried to sue Diddy for his 25%, but it did not work because they said it wasn't enough information proving that he was in charge. Then they get into Diddy and Kim Porter. He finally got Kim Porter, but the security guard, Roger Bond, said that he would be hitting on Kim Porter, but he never seen it with his own eyes, but he knew it was happening behind closed doors. Then they talk about the video with Nas, where Diddy is on the cross as Jesus, and Hezekiah Walker said, "You are making a mockery of God," so he asked Steve Stout to take it out. He wouldn't take it out, so then he hit him with a bottle. 2 other bodyguards was with him too and was also jumping on Steve Stout, and Mark Curry had me in tears. He said, "I don't want no parts. I'm supposed to be writing a song. That's all I'm here for." Then they bring up the club shooter with Shine, and Shine saying that he had terrible lawyers and Diddy had good lawyers and he was in charge of the lawyers, so that's how he took the fall for it. And then everybody around Diddy just started going to jail or not wanting to be bothered with him, like Mace, 112, Total, just different people. Yeah. And when everybody left because of what he was doing, then that's when he created Making the Band and went pop with Danny D. Kane, the band, and Day 26. And Aubrey even said it, when he got to MTV, that's when he got to pop star status, because he was in the hip-hop lane, but MTV was pop, and it worked. And the documentary kind of had Babs in it a little bit, and Day 26. 26, and Babs was talking about how they had to walk to get the cheesecake, and just how everybody felt like Diddy could make their dreams come true, so they did whatever they could to make it happen. Aubrey talked about how she got used to grooming and that he called her the looker. As a manager, he was sending emails to her saying that, yeah, like, I'm about to do this and do that, and I'm thinking about you, and if you really want it, you can come get it.
What?
And she said 6 months after that, she was fired, and she felt like it was because she never gave into his advances. But her reading that affidavit is somebody saying that they seen Aubrey getting taken advantage of while she was not in her right mind. I said, this is wild, and she don't even remember it. Then Kalina talked about Diddy dirty money, and Kalina felt like Diddy and Don had something that was unspoken, but also it couldn't be spoken of because of Cassie. And then them showing him calling Kalina like, what is Don talking about? Do something about it. What is she doing? Is wild. But Kalina putting out that statement and being on here is a little weird to me. If that man threatened you when he called you for real, blink twice, because that's what it's giving, baby. And Kalina was saying that Kim Porter and Cassie was low-key around at the same time, and Kim Porter was not rocking with that because she was the wife with the kids, and then Cassie was low-key like the side chick. But Cassie came around with Ryan Leslie when she was 19, but they said that Diddy don't like with nobody around, so Ryan Leslie ended up being out the picture. Just how it was with Misa and Eric. Then they brought up Clayton Howard, who was often over there with the freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie. And he was saying Diddy went by Frank Black. And then they showed this video of his iPad saying Frank's MacBook. And I'm like, uh-oh. And the escort said that Biggie's birthday, March 9th, was one of the big freak-off days annually. But he said he would see Diddy get jealous and be kicking Cassie across the room and hitting her and just different stuff like that when he would get jealous. Or if she wouldn't listen to what he said or said no to anything, it would be an issue. And then they brought up how in the earlier days, he was sober. Like, he didn't drink or smoke. But they feel like after something happened with a cut of the wrist, he ended up taking, like, Percocets and he ended up getting hooked on them. They were saying Diddy was always high. It was drugs of different colors, according to Kalina. Like, it was just a lot. Then Capricorn Clark talked about her first day on the job, talking about Diddy took her to a park and basically told her, this is where you gonna be and I'm gonna kill you if you ever say anything about what's going on. And he was saying that because she was best friends with Suge Knight's baby mama, and you know him and Suge Knight did not get along. She talked about the Kid Cudi situation, how he brought her and kidnapped her, came to the door and was like, we're going to get Kid Cudi right now. And he would not let her go until Cassie came and got her, and then he kicked Cassie again. Then Lil Rob talked about his experiences working on a Love album and how Diddy...
Hold the fuck. For the people that watch this, for the people that actually watch this, what was you thinking when you was watching this? Because I'm just hearing this. I'm not even seeing these people actually saying it with the emotions and stuff like that. What was that like? Like, just hearing this sounds crazy. Kicking across the room, like standing over people with a bat. Come on.
Never paid him. And how he got so used to drugs that he felt like he didn't even remember some of them nights, but he was there, ended up waking up naked and different stuff. Then he brought up allegedly how he was in the studio and then he heard a gunshot go off with Diddy and his son Justin in the bathroom. I'm like,
what?
It was Lil Rod walking into the bathroom and seeing that and having to figure what to do next. That's crazy. But yeah, this was a lot to take in. And then they kept playing that video of Cassie being drugged in that hallway. I'm like, oh my God. And then the two jurors that was on trial that was talking on the documentary got on my nerves. I'm like, y'all sound like fans, for real. I was looking at both of them sideways, but one thing that she said is that it was stuff that was happening in the court that people was lying about outside of the court. Like, it was PR teams paid to tell the blogs different stuff because public of opinion was a big thing in this case. But yeah, if y'all really care, go watch Sean Combs' The Reckoning. It got me thinking a lot. But how y'all feel about this? Let's talk about it in the comments. I love y'all.
I just want to say, as a South African, this jury system in the United States is honestly the biggest downfall, because after watching the Sean Combs' The Reckoning documentary, I am so livid, guys. Because what do you mean those two jurors were basically saying that, well, Cassie decided to go back to him, and so that on its own does not prove just how much of an abusive man this is. Then on the one hand, you're admitting that because you grew up listening to Diddy, now you are suddenly saying that you're not biased and that you can't look at Diddy. But then one moment when he reacts to Capricorn's statement, and now you guys see what he does, and then you guys are also in the same reaction as if you guys are giving each other this like affirmation, a stamp of approval. Luguti, yeah, we also don't understand what you just like. Come on, guys. I honestly cannot believe what I was hearing. Like, personally, I cannot believe what I was hearing, because I'm like, how do jurors get vetted, guys? Like, common sense surely must be there somewhere as a checklist, because no way those two individuals said the things that they said. And of course, this being the ultimate outcome, which is why I'll always say that where stardom resides, justice will forever be compromised, because there's just so many parallels between Diddy's life and case versus that of OJ. If you really think about it, it's pretty much the same strategy. And while people might want to deny it, but I also feel like Diddy's influenced influence actually worked for him. Like there was an entire PR machine outside, right? Outside of the courts, but also he has this thing about him in court where because people, it could be the first time that they're meeting their celebrity, they obviously feel some type of way, even though they're actually meant to be very objective. But I feel like that really had a lot to do with this image that Diddy has upheld for so many years as this epitome of Black excellence. And it's pretty much what got him off of a lot of the heavy charges during this case. And the reason why I keep coming back to the idea of common sense is that why is it so hard for people to fathom that where there's money, there's power, and where there's power, there's dominance, and of course, this power dynamic that exists, right? Because it means, Uti, the more you have, the more you can control. Right. And that's exactly what happened with Diddy, guys. And, I think with him, it really got to his head because while I think theoretically, he really wanted to rep his people, putting them on and doing good for them, he also realized that he has to do it in such a way where people don't notice. And that's why I keep saying, like, he used rather this image of Black excellence to his advantage so that people don't necessarily call him out until people find themselves in situations with him. Then they would realize, man, this guy udlale ngami, and I feel like he did that with everyone. And still on the topic of influence and power, I think one of the most startling things for me was that phone call in the first episode where he kept saying that, because another lawsuit came up and the fact that now he has to pay for this BS and whatever. So he's so used to throwing money at everything because people and the system allowed him to do so with no punishment, with nothing whatsoever. I think as far as punishments went, he obviously was arrested for possession of a firearm. It was him and Shine with that particular story. And Shine was also just describing how, I think it was Shine, where he was describing how, this man's lawyers who are also supposed to represent him didn't care about him. They actually care more about Diddy and him getting out. So
that's why you gotta have your own. I've heard stories about that where artists try to use the lawyers that the labels give them or something like that. Or even in this case, you sign to Diddy, Diddy got lawyers, you go through Diddy's lawyers, they don't really got your best interest at hand. You need a third party separate from anybody, the label that got your best interest at hand. Because if Diddy paying the lawyers and he working, lesson learned.
The questions that were asked towards the witnesses at that particular event did not make any sense, meaning that there was nothing solid, that they could say that, okay, Shine wasn't the shooter, but rather it was Diddy himself. Then onto this whole Biggie and Tupac situation, it made so much sense that Diddy was actually very jealous of Biggie and Tupac's friendship, because from my understanding, after watching all of these Notorious B.I.G. documentaries, as well as Impilo Tupac, there was never anything between the two of them, aside from the fact that they came from different areas. But the one person who was at the center of the mess was definitely Diddy, because he could also see that these two are going to become bigger than him. And so he didn't allow that. And so that's the reason why the situation became what it was. Even though, yes, right now it's still alleged, but why would Biggie's mom also have an issue with Diddy specifically? Why was he so jealous? Why did he want to always start trouble when it came to Tupac? Why is it that when he was having his freak-offs with, that male gigolo and Cassie, at the moment a Tupac song came on, he would just get so annoyed? Bekahlanya le ndoda, bekahlanya. And for the mere fact that Suge Knight still won't say ukuthi kwenzakalani, must just tell you everything, because I think he also knew that Diddy was also just as connected, and so this would literally just cause war at this rate. Now, moving on from his professional relationships, I want to get into the more personal relationships that he had developed as a result of the working relationships that he had, specifically on Lil Rod, because what was done to Lil Rod is actually so dead wrong, bruh. Like, he realized that he was caught up in a situation where he looked up to this man and this man was literally playing him. The fact that he didn't even pay him for that album, the fact that he would basically pump substances into his system to a point where he would feel sore the next day and couldn't even explain why. Then onto the Danny T. Kane situation and how he isolated, I think it's Audrey O'Day, and just how she was highlighted. And those emails, honey, this man incriminated himself. Like, he knew what he was doing, but he just thought he would get away with it, which in for the most part, he actually did. Because how does it explain that Audrey was drugged and seemingly someone actually saw that she was taken advantage of and she even couldn't remember? There's a pattern, guys. There's a pattern, which is why I'm so angry at the jurors, because what do you mean they couldn't figure out this pattern? What do you mean they couldn't figure it out? Because this man was an abuser. This man was an abuser, and it's quite shameful that victims were never really looked out for when they decided on which charges he was guilty of, because I was just like, this is very traumatic. I think moving on to the dirty money situation, and how Dawn also, who used to write for him, because again, she is mesmerized by the idea of being with someone who's got so much money. She knows that her career is going to move forward and everything. But now this relationship that existed there, only to find that she was also enduring, assault while she was supposedly with Diddy, or whatever you want to call it. And why was he so shocked when, she decided to come forward? Because it takes one brave person, and which was Cassie in this case, for everyone else to essentially mention their stories. I remember there was a lady, I apologize if I forgot her name, but in the beginning of the episode, where she spoke about how Diddy had basically sexually assaulted her, and nobody believed her. And the moment she said that Cassie spoke up about this relationship, it kind of gave her relief to say that she wasn't the only one, not in a bad sense, but it would make her story a lot more believable, because people didn't want to believe her, because they believed in Diddy more because of the influence and the power that he had. So it's, guys. And of course, just with the Cassie situation, I don't understand, like, how people can just dismiss all of that footage and act like this person is a saint. I don't understand it. Or maybe because I come from a country where abuse is it's a pandemic, guys. It's a pandemic, meaning that people across the rest of the world do not take abuse very seriously and what abuse really is by definition. Because as a juror, there's no way you're going to be saying that just because someone made up with their abusive partner that they knew what they were getting themselves into, taking away everything else that formed the relationship. The fact that this person was controlling, this person isolated the victim and did so many things. How do you not separate that, guys? Like, if you're not angry after watching this documentary, I have news for you. You are also part of the problem. You are also an enabler, because there's nothing good about this man. The fact that his own kid, his son Christian must also be implicated, because he learned that behavior from his father. And I understand why Albie Shaw's son, Quincy, also wants nothing to do with this man, because he is very vile, and his vileness is just spreading to his offspring, and that's just what it was. But anyway, that's me, and I urge you guys to actually go check it out. And if you guys are not angry, then I'm sorry, but you are also a part of the problem when it comes to these matters within society, okay?
To be honest, after watching that new Diddy documentary on Netflix, they was actually not so biased. Like, it wasn't like, okay, Diddy is sus the whole documentary, or this, that, and like, bro, like, they told everything he did. They ain't hold nothing back. You feel me? All the females he violated, all, like, everybody that used to work for him, producers, the one thing that had me mixed up, though, was when one of the producer dudes, I forgot his name, but bro said there was nights and days I woke up, like, sore. I said, what? I said, wait. Whoa. You woke up sore? Like, the first question that, like, after saying something like that, bro,
where?
Like, where are you sore at? Like, we need to know, because at the end of the
Exactly.
day, bro, it's like, if you was sore somewhere that I hope you wasn't sore at, bro,
Right.
that's crazy. You feel what I'm saying? That was just one of the craziest things that, I took from the documentary, bro. But just everything he did, though, like, bro, Diddy was actually a wild, freaky bull. I never knew this, bro. Like, he had so much motion and clout, like, signing people. This guy's a billionaire, giving people all of this money, bro, successful, all that, bro. But then to go out sad, how you went out, bro, it's just like... And then, bro, 50 Cent been trolling you for a year. He told y'all that the documentary was coming out. Nobody believed it. Now it's number one. Bro, I'm just telling y'all to go watch this now before it's off of Netflix, because Diddy's lawyers, they put out a cease and desist. So I had to make sure I tuned in early because I had to see what was going on. But, bro, Diddy, wow.
Wait, you will wake up next to Diddy sore and you kept going back? I'm about to play the clip.
Woke up some days, he was in the bed. I would wake up feeling sore, still not understanding exactly what's...
Something's not making sense. You're telling me you would wake up sore next to Diddy, not knowing how you got there, and you kept going back. You would wake up sore.
That's not funny. He said not knowing how you got there, but still.
Not knowing how you got there. And you see Diddy laying right there. And you would still attend the parties and keep going back into... You were trying to investigate what was causing the soreness? What? Like, it's hard for me to understand. If I'm at a party and I wake up sore and Diddy's right there, I'm never going back. Like, bro, I'm not understanding, because if I just keep blacking out and popping up places I don't know with Diddy laying right there and I'm always sore, why would I keep going back? Like...
So you mean to tell me Diddy stirred up fake beef that turned into real beef, that turned into a bloodbath on both hemispheres of the United States? We had a whole civil war after the Civil War in the rap game, all because Diddy was fucking insecure. Let's just start there. He was insecure. He was a ventriloquist, and I'm going to tell you how this works. He's the puppet master, right? So the puppets on both sides of the hemispheres, so Tupac was a puppet, right? I'm not going to say he was Suge's puppet, or if you want to say that, you can say that. But Biggie was definitely Diddy's puppet, right? He had his own charisma. He had his own swag. He had his own rhymes. He had everything, you feel me? The only little sprinkle was, the publicity with p.diddy. So what he did was, because he saw that Biggie was forming an alliance with Tupac, and because he loved and admired the West Coast culture, he wanted that for New York. And at first it wasn't working because of his greed, right? They said that all of his artists weren't feeling Diddy no more because of all the bullshit that he was inside of. So he saw that he was forming an alliance with Tupac. He don't fuck with Tupac. He don't fuck with the West Coast because Suge Knight got on the stage and said, if you don't want to be a part of a record label where the record company people or whatever, the producers in the videos and woo, come to death row. He ain't like that shit. So he felt like, okay, well, fuck the West Coast and everybody that's riding with me. If you fuck with them, you can't fuck with me. That's what it's given. So he saw that Biggie formed an alliance with Tupac. He was like, nah, I got to get in between that. Boom. Invite Tupac over. Come to the studio. Biggie's not even knowing nothing that's going on. You heard it from the man himself. The dude said that Biggie didn't even know what was going on. He was like, nah, tell Pac to come upstairs. Come upstairs. All of a sudden, guns is out. Motherfucker, Tupac is in jail, and he hearing he say, she say. Literally, it's all just hearsay. about Biggie and P. Diddy set him up in some old shit. And we already know that it's been known that Tupac is a hothead. And Tupac real quick at the mouth.
Yeah,
so
is.
because he a hothead, he don't give a fuck. He just heard somebody was talking shit. Oh, y'all talking shit? Okay, fine. I fucked your wife. Now what? So now Biggie over here like, what? You fuck my wife?
Hey, she all into this. She is all go for it.
Bro, Diddy is getting his rocks off on this. He's like, yeah, he said he fucked your wife. Now get on him. Like what you gonna say next? What you gonna say next? What you gonna say next, Biggie? Get on his ass, Biggie. Not to mention the Rolling Loud cover. You mean to tell me that you canceled this nigga's flight to go to London because you wanted him to attend a party that he didn't want to be at? Because you wanted to be egotistical and be so vain and be so full of pride that you wanted to be on a turf that you knew you were not welcomed on to prove a point for what? And Biggie didn't give no fuck about proving no point. He already said what the fuck he needed to say. Tupac is dead. Okay? Like the beef is over for him in his mind. And he even said himself, he feel like he was paranoid because he feel like somebody was trying to set him up and kill him.
Damn.
Just for you to cancel that man's flight. For him to attend a party that he didn't even want to go to.
Dang.
And you got the man killed. You walked him to his fucking grave. He deserves more than 50 months in jail.
This is spicy shit.
All right, people. I watched the Diddy documentary. And I've got a couple of things to say.
This shit is worldwide. Look, we had somebody in Africa. Now it sounds like he in London or the UK. This shit is everywhere.
For us, and when I say us, I mean the diehard hip-hop fans, the hip-hop historians. We've been knowing about some stuff already before the documentary came out. Like, there's some stuff that I watched in the documentary and I was like, I knew about that. However, there's some stuff that came out and that was said in this doc that even had me like, what? You know, sometimes in movies, yeah, or in series, you might see someone who is jealous of someone else and he's trying to take him or her out because he or she wants to be the person, the guy, or the woman. So usually the person will just take out the villain in this, villain, and be the guy. Like, you've done your stuff, you took out the person, and you're the guy now. This ninja went out and took out Tupac and Biggie.
Damn.
So you're jealous of the good guy and the bad guy because you want to be the guy. Do you know how tapped in the head you have to be to do that, bro? And you've got to understand, yeah, as hip-hop fans, Biggie's death was obviously straightforward, with all due respect. But you've also got to understand, as teenagers, there was this mystique around Tupac's death. Like, we never really knew how he died. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we knew, but we didn't. Do you get my point? So to see all of literally to see the storyline of everything up until Pac's death unfold, I'm like, oh yeah. It makes total sense. Last but not least, 50 Cent. 50. First of all, Diddy hired a videographer to follow him and take videos and pictures and footage and whatnot. Diddy gets arrested and 50 buys that footage.
Damn.
That footage. And I
Damn.
can just tell, like, that footage, Diddy was already planning to release a victory doc and all that. 50 purchased the footage. Bro.
Crazy. How much did it cost?
50 is the pettiest guy I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? I am here for it because I absolutely love it. But yeah, man, I guess the moral of the story is, in most cases, jealousy, man. Jealousy is a monster. Jealousy is a monster because it will make you do some of the craziest stuff ever. Just look at the whole If you've watched the doc, just look at all the situations, bro. Taking this man's gal, taking this man's gal, taking this man's gal. It's just jealousy, bruv. Jealous of Pac, jealous of Biggie. It's all just jealousy, man. But yeah, a lot of the stuff we've been knowing about it. But anyway, let me know what you think.
Damn.
50 got to be the worst person in the world to have a problem with. That Sean Combs, the reckoning shit was surgical. Let me tell you something. That Diddy documentary, 50 ain't just drop a film. That shit could be career ending for real. You watch this shit for 5 minutes and it's obvious. 50 ain't come to inform the public. He came to drag Diddy in the broad daylight, flip the lights on, and say, everybody, take a look at this shit. The crazy part about that whole shit is he had receipts on everything. Footage, timelines, recordings, witnesses, all wrapped into one big ass ball. Shit that got me messed up is, this dude had information that the feds ain't had. This shit wasn't about cash. Nah. 50 went way back. Childhood Diddy, college Diddy, Uptown Records Diddy, Bad Boy Diddy, Biggie Tupac Diddy, the rumors, the lawsuits, the whispers, the NDAs. He laid the entire timeline out like a murder board. Shit, I started watching. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me see where this shit is going. Next thing I know, I'm on the couch like, nah, ain't no way this shit happened. And again, 50 got shit in this documentary that the feds ain't even had. It's like this man hacked the cloud of every single lawyer in Hollywood. Pictures, files, testimony. Then that shit just dropped yesterday. That shit is #1 on Netflix. He turned Netflix into the Diddy Show all over again. And this wasn't some messy documentary. This shit was surgical. This shit was strategic, organized, calculated. Like 50 been waiting for years, just loading clip after clip. This man pieced together decades of patterns that people been talking about, but just ain't want to say. But watch this shit for yourself. You will see exactly what I'm talking about. And again, if you got a problem with 50, leave that man alone. Leave that man alone, because whoever he paid to get the shit that he got, leave that man alone.
Damn. Crazy.
Let me tell you, when I say 50 Cent knew what he was doing with this documentary, I mean the man knew what he was doing. It's not surprising that he would want to put this documentary together, considering the fact that they have their own issues, and this is the same guy who helped bring the show Power to life, which was absolutely incredible. If you are someone who grew up to Diddy and you've heard all the rumors, then nothing really in this documentary will be that surprising. Except maybe the part where Diddy is on camera 6 days before his arrest, talking to his attorneys, talking to God knows who, filming everything, and he had no idea this footage would ever get into the hands of 50 Cent into a documentary for all of us to see. And this is exactly how episode 1 started off, and my jaw was honestly on the ground. This camp, of course, is saying it was stolen, it was a shameful hit piece, but filmmakers are saying they got a hold of it after he was arrested and they obtained it legally. Either way, 50 Cent is diabolical for leading with that and kind of sets the tone for Diddy's downfall. Like I said, if you followed the trial, if you followed his career, if you grew up listening to hip hop, you've heard it all. Stampede in the 90s, from rumors to Tupac, Biggie, the club night with J-Lo. I mean, we've heard it all, and we've always known there's something very dark about Diddy. He really did an incredible job putting the timeline together from when he first began his career and how he was a dweeb and how fast and quickly he learned the game to becoming one of the most powerful people in it to now behind bars. While I was not surprised to see Aubrey O'Day in this documentary, I was definitely surprised to see Capricorn Clark, his security guy Roger Bonds, who we've heard so much about throughout the years. Also got to hear directly from people like Lil Rod, who explained things that had happened to him and around him, and I don't want to give it away in case you still want to watch. Also finally got to hear what happened when Aubrey O'Day opened up in this documentary about what someone said they witnessed had happened to her. What really tied this documentary together is Kirk Barrels being in it. He is someone that is Diddy's family and helped build Bad Boy from day one. At the end of episode 4, he opens up about his own experience with Diddy, and I mean, it just goes to show Diddy loved no one. This man is cold, he is soulless, and I'm in shock that he had gotten away with so much for this long. If you haven't watched the documentary already, and if you're thinking, I already know everything, I'm telling you, it is worth the watch.
This shit crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, hey y'all, Diddy ain't coming home. Diddy ain't coming home. I'm gonna let it be known right now. After I just broke down the framework of this documentary that they just dropped, there's no way he coming home. Now everybody's saying, yeah, he gonna beat the allegations on the woman. Yeah, y'all not even realizing what they doing in this documentary. They're showing evidence, right? People gonna watch this documentary and reopen the case just depending on Diddy, so he don't come home. They gonna set, bro. They making the example out this nigga right now. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm watching this documentary, and there's no way they break down the beef. They can break down the statistics as far as how much the killer got paid. You know, him only getting half because he didn't hit Tupac and Suge. Like, the feds is working, and Netflix is working for him. Like,
dang,
bro, I ain't even gonna fake. Like, Diddy, I wish you the best, twin.
Crazy.
They consider a pre-existing beef, right? For 20 years, right? It's me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester. Like, maybe you'll come play with me type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
50 is crazy, man.
So far, my biggest takeaway from this Diddy documentary is the most dangerous person you will ever meet is an insecure man. Because every single action that Diddy did that hurt somebody stemmed from his insecurity. And it is his childhood insecurity that stayed with him his whole life. And with him not dealing with that, it bred greed and jealousy within himself. He was envious of all the other people around him that he felt like he was better than, and he felt like he deserved their spot. And when he eventually did earn his place in the world, and people saw him for what he was as far as like having his talent, he still was envious and greedy. And it's so crazy because like when you're dealing with an insecure man that has as much greed and pride as Diddy does, nothing is ever enough for him. Diddy could have easily champion himself off of being the producer that's super forward thinking. Even though he's not musically talented, he can curate a vibe and he has a great ear for music. Diddy has one of the best ears for music, you know what I'm saying? As far as like in, not even just hip hop, but like music in general.
That's
Diddy
real.
is extremely talented in his own way, but since he's not talented in the way that he thinks is normal and other people think is like normal, he doesn't feel like it's enough. He has to take from other people. He has to take other people's spots. And that's why you see him constantly trying to steal side pieces from dudes. Constantly trying to force himself onto like his artist platforms and trying to make himself the centerpiece. And this is exactly what happens whenever you live under paper.
But based on what we seen earlier, that's what he learned from Andre Harrell. I think that was him, right? Where he said like, you are the biggest. No artist should be bigger than you type thing. So that's why that's what he was taught. You know what I'm saying?
Patriarchy, and you're forced into a certain role that you can't uphold. I talk about this shit all the time, bro. And the part that really drove that point home for me was whenever they were talking about how Diddy was pretty much a soft kid. You know what I'm saying? He was getting his ass kicked all the time. And his mom was beating the hell out of him. And she did it to make him a stronger man. But whenever your core basis is to be soft and you're faced with extreme violence and you shrink back into yourself as a little boy, right? And your mother's forcing traditional masculinity onto you through violence and punishment. This is the result, bro. You grow up to be an insecure man that's constantly overcompensating to force himself into being the type of man that they think that they should be instead of just being the man that they want to be.
Yo, he good.
You know what I'm saying? You're constantly overcompensating because deep down, you know that you're still that scared little boy, that soft little boy. And you feel like if you let your guard down and if you let this facade of traditional masculinity slip, everybody's going to see you for what you really are.
Right. He was good. He was good. I like that.
Diddy's untalented son, Christian King Combs, decided to drop a diss track against 50 again. And further into that, Diddy has also decided to send some flowers to 50 Cent. These also seem to be quite threatening. 50 Cent here writes a post on Instagram that I'm going to pop just on the screen right now. Now, if 50 wasn't the man he was or is, he would absolutely be scared of this threat, right? He would be frightened, and he would probably do his best to try to backtrack. But it's 50 Cent. Diddy, it's over for you. It's over for you. We, the people, hate you. Nobody loves you. We hate you, brother love. And as for this Netflix cease and desist, honestly, I really doubt it'll go anywhere. That's just my opinion. Only because even that baby reindeer lawsuit has been ongoing. A lot of things have been thrown out. So, I mean, do I see this going anywhere? Not for a while. Not for a while. So Diddy, keep crying, bitch. Take your untalented, dusty-ass children with you.
Dang. Oh.
I promise every word of this is real, and I'm willing to risk my entire future to finish this documentary. I'm not doing it for myself, but for justice. Biggie's death was never simple, even though Diddy did.
I don't know if what he's saying is AI, but that 50 Cent face was AI. So I don't know if the words is AI or is it 50, but that wasn't 50.
Denies it. I can tell you what I've heard and what I've seen. You can judge for yourselves. When the facts are right in front of you, when everyone knows what you've done, if you can still pretend you don't see it and ignore all these accusations, then I'll truly be impressed. A lot of people say I'm only doing this for revenge. I admit we did have a little conflict, but risking everything this time is no joke. Do you know why he's so desperate to shut down my documentary? He's even willing to hire someone to pay me a visit because he knows we found things. Footage he filmed himself, confidential call agreements, all of it. And I paid a huge amount of money to get those. Diddy is not the only problem. He's just a symbol. There are too many people like him in this industry, and we need to correct them.
AI generated, say at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if y'all can see that.
I finished watching that Diddy documentary last night, which this was my first time watching any documentary on him. He legit rose to fame. The more people died. The charity basketball game, which was my first time hearing about that, and the 9 people that lost their lives, and he started to rise to fame after that, that was just crazy to process. And the more people died, he just continued to succeed. And that is freaking insane to me. Insane. And then you can see in that photo, in the video that Biggie did when he said like he was in fear of somebody about to kill him in LA, and the photo that they took together, you can see on Biggie's face the worriness that he had. Like he was legit in fear of his life. And this whole entire documentary was freaking insane. I knew about some stuff, but I didn't know about all of that shit that went down. That is crazy. And the reason why they had this behind the scene footage is because Diddy did not pay the videographer.
What the fuck? He didn't even pay him.
The devil works hard, but 50 Cent works harder. For some reason, Diddy wanted to record the days before he got arrested. And then somehow, this footage ends up in 50 Cent's lap. I don't know what type of informants 50 Cent has, but that's terrifying. He's the executive producer of this docu-series on Netflix, and he can't control how happy he is. He's trying to hide it, but this is a Christmas gift to himself. This is the type of work he would do for free. You wouldn't even have to pay him a dime. If it involves the downfall of Diddy, he's on board. The reporter asks him, how would Diddy feel if he saw this documentary? 50 Cent says he would look at it and be like, wow, this is amazing. And the director who's sitting right next to 50 Cent is trying to hide her laughter because she knows he's full of shit. He can't even hide his smile. I've never seen somebody try to crush their enemies the way that 50 Cent does. He even tried to show up to his trial with some popcorn and they wouldn't let him in. Do not be on 50 Cent's bad side.
That's a fact. 50 don't give up.
This ain't flowers, y'all. This is chess. And 50 Cent just exposed the first move. 50 Cent ain't posting this for jokes. He posting this to show this was a message sent to him by p.diddy. It was a warning wrapped in flowers. 50 Cent is a smart man, y'all. He know what he doing. He made this shit public to let y'all know. Think about it, y'all. Why would p.diddy send 50 Cent flowers? He did this after he dropped the little documentary on him on Netflix.
Little documentary?
Diddy wasn't too happy about it. He tried to get the joint removed, but Netflix said, nah, we not removing it. The timing in the entertainment world is everything, y'all. 50 Cent is basically saying it without saying it. Like, if something weird happened to me, y'all know who did it. This man created a digital receipt. That's his protection. I'm not saying it's gonna fully protect him, and I'm not saying Diddy gonna do anything or have anything done. I'm just letting y'all know. But by him doing this and putting this out, he like, the whole world, y'all see this. So everybody is going to be paying attention. No little crazy mishaps can really go on without somebody knowing. Maybe Diddy had something to do with it.
The Diddy docuseries produced by 50 Cent just dropped on Netflix, and all you need to know is that 50 Cent has more receipts on Diddy than the literal FBI. And when I say he has receipts, I'm talking about 30-year-old, never-before-seen videos and audio recordings from Biggie, Tupac, and one of the craziest recordings that's never been heard before from one of Diddy's LA associates that tells the police what he claims really happened the night that Tupac passed away. The first 2 episodes aren't even about his trial or allegations, they're just about how bad of a person Sean Combs was, is, and his involvement with Tupac, Biggie, and their death. And the biggest takeaway was that Diddy was a very jealous and envious person who so badly wanted to be that guy. Even as a 19-year-old intern at Uptown Records, he would go after the biggest artist, Al B. Shore's girlfriend, Kim Porter. He always wanted to be the biggest guy and wanted what all the biggest artists had, which makes so much sense on why he was so jealous of Tupac. Because Tupac was everything that Diddy wasn't and what he so badly wanted to be, and what made him even more jealous was the connection that Tupac had with Biggie. Believe it or not, Tupac and Biggie had a good relationship early on. Tupac loved Biggie's first album, and Biggie loved everything that Tupac stood for. And they were becoming good friends, so Diddy, being the control freak he was, wanted to intervene and start working with Tupac. But Tupac refused. He didn't care about working with Diddy and only wanted to work with Biggie. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I could make a part 2 explaining further, but I think you should check it out for yourself, because the first 2 episodes were extremely interesting. There's never before seen footage, and I think it's a must watch if you're into the 90s hip-hop era.
Damn, rest in peace of Pac and Biggie.
This 50 Cent Diddy documentary got Diddy about to catch a whole nother case. Did y'all see what he just did to 50? Diddy just basically threatens to unalive 50 Cent by sending him flower, and not just any flowers. These are flowers that you would send to somebody like as a funeral arrangement.
Whoa.
Check this out. 50 had a show in Miami, and next thing you know, Diddy is so upset. He sent basically a warning to 50 with flowers, and 50 don't like it at all. That part 2 coming, y'all. I cannot believe that Diddy would put a threat on 50 publicly. Y'all know 50 has a best friend who they claim unalived himself, that many believe, 50 and others believe Diddy has something to do with that. Damn. I'm telling you, this part 2 will probably destroy Diddy for the rest of his life. 50 not about to play around. I don't know why Diddy keep fucking with 50. Leave him alone. You should have never offered him to buy him no clothes. He already laid on a documentary that you basically had Tupac unalive, Biggie unalive, some random Negro in the bathroom named G. Remember Lil Rod told that story that Justin and Diddy went into the bathroom and shot G, and they ain't never seen G since. Then Fahim came, you know Fahim is the same one who covered up the Michael Jackson shit, and he used to be in the CIA. Diddy had him in his back pocket. This shit crazy. But you gonna threaten 50 life? And I don't like it. What if I told you? Part 2 coming.
Diddy on some wild shit.
Man, oh man, oh man. That Netflix documentary that 50 did on Diddy exposed.
You can see it in his face that this dude is geeked up. You can see it in his face that, hey, he got some shit to say. Let me see what he gonna say.
Everything.
Look at him smiling.
Footage that was never ever seen before. People that we've never seen before exposing the truth about everything. Puffy, Diddy, whatever he calling himself now, is pissed because he tried his best to have that documentary.
I'm sorry, y'all. My man got on a Hennessy hoodie? I know he ain't got on no Hennessy hoodie, my boy.
Documentary stopped, completed, and now it's trying to have that documentary taken down. But 50 Cent, being as smart as he is, man, him and his team make sure that they secured it where the documentary will stay on Netflix and will not come down. I'm gonna say this right now. 50 ain't to be played with, bro. He ain't to be played with. I don't think 50 a billionaire like Diddy a billionaire or was a billionaire. I don't know how much all them attorney fees cost. But 50's not to be joked around with, man. He put the facts out there. I did not know that Diddy had another man fly in every year on Biggie Smalls' anniversary date that Biggie passed to have this guy smash his girl, man.
Oh, hell no!
For hours and for days. I didn't know that. The dude told the whole thing, man.
For hours and days?
And I was asking myself, man, where the heck did 50 get this footage at? And you know what I realized? When you're successful, you create enemies. The more money that you get, the more cockier that you become. Diddy was getting real cocky, talking to his staff crazy, security guards, ex-employees. So you know what? They had the footage on their phones from years and years and years. 50 pulled up with a bankroll and said, I'll take that. I'll take that. Here you go. And he sat on it for a long time. And he dropped it at the right moment, man. During the wintertime, man, when most people are in the house, man, watching television, trying to stay warm.
Great point.
I'm going to say this, man. Diddy can't do anything about this Netflix series. I'm telling you, man, it's bad. When I watched it, man, I ain't gonna lie. I watched all 4 episodes twice.
Damn.
It's crazy. If y'all ain't seen that Netflix documentary that 50 put out there, man, y'all need to rush. Y'all need to rush over there and check that documentary out, because I'm telling you, this is real drama, man. This is real drama.
He geeked up.
Diddy a dirty ass dude, man. Grimy. Y'all hear how he talked to his attorney when he was in that hotel trying to manipulate the system? Did y'all hear how when he was in the SUV after shaking people's hands and the guy gave him a jacket, a special jacket that was made for him, how Diddy's got in the SUV with his staff and said, I need to go take a bath. Give me the hand sanitizer. As if he's better than somebody. Just because you got money don't make you better than nobody. You know why?
Shit.
Because just like the rest of us, God got a date for you to check out. Just like he got a date for all of us to check out. But I ain't even going there, man. Go check that documentary out, man. Shout out to 50 Cent, man. You did your big one on collecting all that footage. That was a lot of footage over the years, bro. You guys go check it out, man. Thanks for watching.
Rush over.
The craziest thing revealed in the Diddy documentary is what he did after Biggie passed away. Diddy wanted to throw Biggie the biggest, most extravagant funeral that New York had ever seen. And that's what he did. Everyone in New York showed up to that funeral. But the co-founder of Bad Boys, Kirk Burrows, claims that Diddy allegedly made the funeral a recoupable charge to Biggie in his death after he saw how much it was going to cost. Throughout the documentary, there are multiple times where Diddy calls Biggie one of his closest friends, his best friend, and even one of the only people that he's ever trusted. So he gets everyone in New York to come together to celebrate Biggie's life, and it makes him look like this great guy. But he forgets to mention that the royalties that Biggie was making posthumously is what was paying for the funeral. And what's even more fucked up is what happens next. Biggie was slated to be on the next cover of Rolling Stone magazine until Diddy made a call to pull the cover so that he could take Biggie's spot to promote his solo album, No Way Out, that was going to come out soon after. And there's still more. Before Biggie passed away, he was negotiating a new contract with Bad Boy, and they gave him everything he wanted. After he passed, Diddy allegedly asked his business partner to change some of the terms after Biggie had already signed it without his mom or family knowing, so that they would be more favorable for Bad Boy. Kirk, the co-founder, said that that wasn't right and he wouldn't do it, and 9 months later he was fired. Meanwhile, Diddy is becoming a rock star, dancing on national television with Sting as a tribute to his best friend.
Golly, man.
Let me tell y'all something right now. That Diddy documentary didn't just make me emotional. It made me angry, like ancestral level angry. Because I finally realized the level of how much this man took from us. I have already been very vocal about disliking him and the things that he's done. Tupac, Biggie, women, employees, artists, our culture, our history, decades of silence and fear and cover up, all wrapped into a man that thought he was untouchable. You think I'm angry just because of the crimes? No, I'm angry because of the ripple. You know, like Tupac, Biggie. They weren't just rappers. They were the heartbeat of a generation.
Hold on. You can hear it in her voice. Is it just me? You can hear it in her voice.
They were storytellers, visionaries, men who changed the world every time they dropped a track. And if what these people are saying is true, and it lines up with Keefe D and other people's stories, his ego was bigger than anything else, and that's what took them out. Diddy didn't just rob their fans. He robbed all of us. He robbed a culture of what it could have been. And now that this documentary is like dropping witness after witness, people collaborating, the stories of Keefe D's, the details, like suddenly everybody's talking. They're not protecting him anymore. This is what justice looks like when it's been waiting too long, when the truth finally stops being scared. And what pisses me off the most is how many lives were shattered while he was out here creating a brand and building an empire and walking carpets and throwing parties and acting like the world was his goddamn playground. All that power, money, and fame built on the backs of people he hurt and silenced and intimidated and erased and misused their trust. So yes, I want justice. I want justice for Pac. I want justice for Biggie and for the women and the men that he has abused. For the people behind the scenes, for the artists who's lost their careers, for everyone whose life was twisted behind the scenes while we were all distracted by the shiny image of him. And if these charges come the way I think they will, just know Karma didn't lose his address. It was just waiting for the right documentary. And I think that part of why this documentary dropped is to cause public pressure to get justice. I'll do a better recap, but this is my instant thoughts after watching it.
Dang. That shit really rattled her.
Bruh, I'm 44 seconds into this Diddy documentary. Boy, where did 50 Cent get this footage from? 50 got the footage from the nigga across the room. Are you kidding me? We're 50 seconds in, nigga. Hey, listen, 50, I apologize in advance for anything I did to you in the future, because I don't want to fuck you over, nigga. You the wrong nigga to play with. Look at the footage. Bruh, this is grimy.
That dude was cracking up, yo.
I done seen all these takes about Diddy in this documentary, and nobody want to talk about the fact that his mother is the originator of these freak-offs. She's the reason he the way he is.
What?
What you mean you was 12 years old up until 3, 4 in the morning talking about do that dance? They got a bunch of drinks and substances floating around, a bunch of pimps, ball players, everybody getting down, fucking and all that shit right in front of your kid. Your kid,
what?
I know them type of mamas. Them type of mamas be like, yeah, go in that room with that girl so I can make you a man. So you whooping his ass, you making him fight at school, outside in the neighborhood. And the way they described it, he fight, he didn't put his hands up, he biting, scratching, he raised like one of the little round the way gunks, like the little, yeah. She raised him like one of the little hoes from round the way.
Jeez.
Come on, bro. And then you give him some power after having all them insecurities, all of them weird dudes that was probably around your son. Nobody thinking about that, huh? Soon as I heard all that, I was like, oh yeah, that'll make a nigga like you know how Richard Pryor was. Richard Pryor grew up in one of them type houses. That's exactly how these niggas end up like that. I don't know what's going on in Harlem, bro. Not nothing against y'all. It's just that old shit y'all got. I don't know.
He from New York. You can tell by his accent too.
Thank you to Netflix for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. As many of you guys know, I spent months researching and producing our 4-part series on Sean Diddy Combs. And shit. Honestly, it was one of the most complex stories that I've ever covered. And I think it changed everything that I thought I knew about him. Like, I knew Sean Combs' name. I was familiar with the headlines. But when we dived deep into his very extensive lore, there were things that I just never heard about. The City College stampede where 9 people died, the club shooting in New York, the murders of Tupac and Biggie that are somewhat connected, if you will. I mean, that's where things got really dark for me. I went down so many rabbit holes trying to understand this East Coast, West Coast rivalry, all the theories, the accusations, and the conspiracies. And there is still so much that we don't know definitively. Sean Combs' lore is basically just tragedy on tragedy, and then at the very end, somehow, Sean Combs is always the last man standing. Especially in our podcast series when we covered his recent trial. But honestly, I keep thinking that there is still so much of this lore that needs to be told, and that is exactly what Netflix's new docuseries does. It is not just about the trial. This is a comprehensive look at Sean Combs' entire life, starting from his childhood in Mount Vernon, New York, where he was raised by a single mother, Janice Combs, right as rap is like exploding into the mainstream, featuring never before footage that gives you an inside look at Diddy's life, explosive first-hand accounts from people who were actually there, former friends, collaborators, rivals, people who witnessed his rise in this entertainment industry up close. You're going to hear about his time as a 19-year-old intern at Uptown Records, the beginning of what would become his very signature wild lifestyle. And then there's the founding of Bad Boy Records with Kirk Burroughs, who's in this Netflix's exclusive release. He actually opens up about their relationship in a way that he has never done before. And as Diddy is climbing higher and higher into the entertainment sphere, you see how his ambition and his hunger for power just like evolves and twists. It's incredible. I mean, the Netflix is bringing you the story of Sean Diddy Combs, tracing his journey all the way up to the present day. The most exciting part about this new release is that we actually get to hear from the jurors in the trial, which is, of course, for legal reasons, is not a perspective we had access to during our trial series. And I'm genuinely so curious to hear what they have to say. This is the full story of Sean Diddy Combs, the entire arc of his life, his lore, his career, and his influence on music and culture. Sean Combs, The Reckoning, is now playing only on Netflix.
She's good. She was using some good words in there.
You mean to tell me Diddy has allegedly sent 50 Cent some flowers? Now, y'all, if y'all have not seen it on 50 Cent's page, it looks like Diddy has sent 50 Cent some funeral arrangement style flowers to Club 11 last night, you guys. And 50 Cent said in the caption, in the comment section, he said, "I'm 90s grimy, you don't warn me." I don't know what's going on, but one thing I will say about Diddy is I feel like prison isn't doing anything for Diddy. Diddy's still going to be Diddy and grimy at the end of the day. And matter of fact, I think that Diddy is actually enjoying being in prison. Not for the reason y'all think, okay? I think Diddy is enjoying being in prison because if you watch the documentary 50 Cent put out, it shows how, you know, his father was like a hustler, like a gangster, like, you know, that street rah. That wasn't really who Diddy really was. He went to private school. He a private school boy. So I think that when he got into the industry, he was like, you know, I want to put on this facade. Like, I'm like my daddy. Now he in prison. Now he feel like, oh, I'm in prison. This is what the real hustlers do. This is what the real gangsters do. I'm in prison right now. It's going down. They need to go ahead and add some more time for Diddy because he's not going to change. He's not going to change. Matter of fact, I hope that with this Keefe D trial coming up, I hope that some stuff come out and they go ahead and just keep him on in there. But you're not going to warn 50 Cent. That's what you're not going to do.
All right, guys, that was a compilation on Diddy with the new documentary with 50 Cent. And this is craziness. You made it this far. You a real one for real. Make sure you put that in the comments. But hey, what was your thoughts when you watched the documentary? I need to know what your thoughts was when you watch this documentary. You can see from the clips that it was a wide range of different emotions. You had people upset, you had people sad, you had people angry, you had people confused, you had people informed. What was you feeling, or what was you thinking when you was watching part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, man? Mind-blowing stuff. But hey, till next time, self-love and positivity. You made it this far. You a real one for real. For real. Fire Squad, I got you and you know it.